Hi there, in this step we're going to look at the timer settings. This is a timer that you can add into either your riddle or each single block to make competition a little bit harder, to give them that time pressure for each question or for the whole riddle. So to do that, go into your settings and it's under timer. And you can enable the riddle timer, for example. So here we have it at the top now. By default it's 30 seconds, but you can change the number of seconds there. Let's make it 60 seconds. That's quite short, I guess, for all these questions. Let's be nice. Let's make it 90. And yeah, I can choose if it's a circle. I can choose whether it's back to a bar on the left-hand side there. And here's the warning for, okay, you're down to 10 seconds now, it's really the final bit. You can change that again as well. Now, this is enabled by default so that if you're in between, or the time that it takes, or the few milliseconds or seconds that it takes between blocks, the timer is paused. So it will only carry on, making it extremely fair. So that time is not taken off if someone's internet is slower than someone else's, for example. What you could also do, as well as or instead of, is have a block timer. And that means that if I have a question, so here, for example, we have it paused on non-question blocks, which means that here, for example, it won't just carry on because it's not a question. Okay, we haven't started it yet anyway, so it's not starting, but if this was a form block, for example, it would stop. And so if I start, for example, you can see these two different timers. Yeah, I have 90 seconds in total, that's going down, but I also have 30 seconds just for this question. So that's up to you to play around with that. I'm going to stop the riddle timer and just have a block timer. I want to pause the timer on non-question blocks. What you can also do is set up individual timers. That means that you can edit the amount of time for each single question, which is obviously incredibly detailed. That's great if you have a harder question, an easier question, and you want to play around with that. So here you have all the questions and you can then adjust the time using the arrows or typing in the amount of seconds that you want there. The final aspect of a timer is the timer countdown, which at the beginning means when you press start, you'll then have a countdown. So I could make that 10 seconds, for example, instead. And when I press start, that will get going there. So those are the timers. Play around with that. If you have any questions, ask us as always, and I'll see you in the next clip for another setting.